All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Good morning. All right. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at what we got for today. I think first things first, we got to make sure we're aware of the. Why is that there? We got to make sure we're aware. We got 9:45 news announcements this morning. The flash manufacturing and flash services there. So could be a little interesting, like first 15 minutes, give or take, and then kind of see where that ends up shaking out there and see what we want to do from there. That's kind of my initial thoughts and ideas behind the news in which we have on the day. In terms of just markets in general, we're getting um, we're getting some decent volume here overnight. We're at 441,000 contracts traded for the S&Ps, and essentially all of these levels from yesterday here, we didn't end up marking all these up last night when we were talking, but essentially all of these levels are pretty much gone. So yes, 66 or 65 57s are still in play here. That's pretty much right at yesterday's low there. And we've bounced a little bit here. You know, S&Ps are up 0.4%, Nasdaq's up 0.3, Russell's up 0.56, Dow's up 0.43. So we really haven't done a tremendous job at trying to get a rally back, which I think is obviously going to be tough on the day anyway, trying to play for that rally back. So my initial thoughts here, which are kind of the same idea that we put in the chat yesterday, is we do get this rally, we get a small gap to the upside, we try and rally at some point today here after the open, and then from there we ultimately end up essentially failing that and then can roll over and go lower. So if we don't see that and there's no rollover and go lower, I'm not going to be super interested in trying to play this, you know, to the long side here. So we'll probably end up, you know, sitting on hands, putting hands in pockets, whatever the case is, and you know, letting this do its thing. But at the moment, that's kind of the initial thought process here. There's a couple names that are getting a gap. I'm not necessarily sold on having to do anything with any of them, though. Right? We did get, you know, pretty decent move to the downside yesterday out of Nvidia. Second day earnings, all of those things. I just don't love that. If anything, the one that I have an eye on right now is going to be Walmart, which we talked about last night. That had a really nice move yesterday on earnings, and now essentially getting, you know, a small gap. It's right in the area where I would like for that to open, pull back to 106.56s, and then maybe we can see some sort of movement to the upside. Now, the other thing that we have to be aware of is that it is options expiration. So it is OPEX. We essentially, with that, could see essentially the idea that we do something like this. So we'll go ahead and put this on the NASDAQ, for example. We could see something that kind of looks, you know, essentially like this on the day, where we open, we kind of rally, we do something like this maybe, and then we do something like this maybe, and something like this, and then probably end up doing something like this, and then back down through here, right? Some sort of highs, lows type of situation could be potentially on the table here, I think, for today for OPEX. And it would make sense with just the pure movement in which we had yesterday, that today ends up being, you know, a little bit of a consolidation type of event. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind as we start to unfold here, and allow that to kind of show itself. So like I said, we're going to wait for the initial move higher this morning, which I would like to see, and then from there start to look and see if we can't either find some reason to get short, allow the market to give us a reason to get short, and then look for that to get continuation and not do the thing in which I just showed, because I don't want to necessarily participate in that choppy range if that's what it's going to be. All right, let's take a look here. First initial move is a rally here. We did sell off in the overnight. I guess we can turn this extended session on for you guys. And we sold off down into this 965 level, and we're able to get a little bit of a pop coming from that. So we did push down into some overnight levels there, or into a level in the overnight, not necessarily an overnight level, but keep an eye on that. Google with a decent first little pop from that gap up. The idea behind Google pinning at 300 bucks just makes a ton of sense. It's OpEx. It's $2.99 and change. Like, let it do its thing and pin to 300 bucks. Tesla, it's $401. Like, let it do its thing and pin at $400 makes sense. Those are like first initial thinking. NASDAQ trying to fade a little bit of that. Pretty quiet open so far. NASDAQ, two little topping tails now. First thing. Gold pulled back about 20 points off those morning highs so far, 40.60s. Pretty slow little morning. Silver was getting wrecked this morning early on. We were down quite a bit, another $1 plus from here. It's a pretty significant move, actually. Part of me wonders if we can't long from here, right off opening print for NASDAQ and see how much it wants to rally. I mean, can we rally back towards, I don't know, 500 bucks? It's like a 300-point rally from here. Opening prints, 202s. We just move. Watching the ladder window is crazy. What's up, Derivator? I'm going to try a small little position here in NASDAQ to the long side. See if we can't get a little bit of a pop. We've got room, like I said. Maybe we want to pop up towards like 500s or so. Highs here like 279 quarters. So look to maybe take some off up there as we get closer. Call it 275s, whatever. Overnight highs here look to be 292s. Dow made new highs there. Russell making new highs now. NASDAQ coming right back down to opening print. Pretty choppy open so far, kind of to be expected here. We're trying a small scalp, see if we can't get at least the push up through highs. But at the moment, looking like it might want to pull back a little deeper yet. Low of the day so far, 158s. This is kind of the area right here where I'd look to potentially stop this out, 170s. Alright, flat that. NASDAQ maybe not wanting to get the push first. Either that or we get ticked out down here on lows and reverse back up through opening print and then make the move. Which would be obnoxious. 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 WM or WMT? Walmart's 106.56. WM, I don't necessarily have any levels for at the moment. What a terrible, terrible thing the market just did to me. We needed that last little divergence right there, a little shimmy. Again, I still think we try and pop here first. Entries are the tough part. And that's honestly whether it's worth trying to capture that move or not. Like we stay stuck in this range that we currently have, which is like 100 points give or take, and it's honestly not going to be worth it. Dow is about to make new lows here. 953s just made those new lows there. Choppy open so far. Kind of to be expected here. We took a NASDAQ attempt a little bit ago and kind of got trailed out on lows for longs. Trying to see if we can't get this market to pop. Ideally, though, we get the pop here up towards like 24,500s. And then from there, we could potentially look at shorts. At the moment, it's looking more and more like we don't necessarily want to pop. We're holding. We're not necessarily going lower yet, but we also can't quite figure out the direction on strength to get that pop. So I'm not necessarily going to short here, but I can't really go long either. That's the problem. Or maybe not a problem, I guess. Depends how you want to look at it. I do think we try and rally first overall. Do we pull back a little bit deeper yet is the question. So far, NASDAQ has a 126 point range on the day and has essentially gone nowhere. Like we are just back and forth at the moment. S&Ps might trade these 57s, or 55, sorry. Gold's trying to hold a little bit there. If we just tank from here and like NASDAQ doesn't get that rally initially today, I think that makes it a lot harder. Yeah, we've got 965s down there that we could certainly pull back and test, which did give us a bounce here, you know, in the pre-market session. I just wouldn't want to see us go too far to the downside before we get the rally, just because at that point we could go ahead and set the bottom, and I would rather us go higher first in order to be able to capture the short. Like I said, I think there's room to the downside, and that's where I would like to focus, is trying to capture that downside move. The idea for a long here is just a scalp to see if we can't get up into the area where I think we can, you know, potentially sell off from. Back at opening print there. S&P is trying to get back over opening print here now too. That level is 81 quarters. And right back down. This 5-minute bar right now for NASDAQ is 126 points. We've essentially gone lower, higher, and now slightly back under the open of that bar, all within 5 minutes. That's an absolutely massive move. I'm going to try NASDAQ a little bit again here. I'm going to play it kind of tight here. But again, just looking to see if we can't catch that little rally. Again, I'm trading this really, really tiny. Looking to see if we can't capture the move up first. And when I say tiny, this is like 10 to 15% of like the size I would like to put on if we do get the rally and have a short setup. Russell's still holding. Russell's yet to go make new lows on the day yet. We are still wrapped right around this open here. Maybe we should put the Russell on. That's the one that's holding. I mean, either way, playing back into the big red bar from yesterday is not super ideal. But like I said, I do think that we at least try to pop first. So I would give that the opportunity at least. If it wants it. Yeah, Russell looks decent for the rally. Just gonna go ahead and put this line up here just so we can see it. Said 279 quarters is that high a day for NASDAQ up there. I'll be honest, it's like with the movement, especially in the overnight session and like being right around the whole number, like 24,000 and stuff, it's like actually kind of tough to be like, to comprehend some of the moves, right? Like getting 100 plus, 150 plus point range bars on a 5-minute chart that are going from like 24 100 and something to 24 200 plus and something. You know, they're large moves. Like let's not pretend that they're not. You know what I mean? All right, Nasdaq getting those new highs now here. and kind of continuing to push there. No new highs. Just yet in the S&Ps. No new highs in the Dow. 3220s. Not yet in the Russell either here. Part of me wants to be cautious and take this off, but I do think there's a little bit more room it can run. But if we do fail from this and then try and roll over under opening print, I think shorts could potentially be on the table at that point. I know you see it. I guess I should have taken it off. I flattened it there at break even on the pullback. We had almost 100 points in that too, which is kind of crazy. S&Ps did not make it. 65.96 is there even. We do have a divergence with the Russell here. NASDAQ did make new highs as well. So far, those are the only two markets to do so. Yeah, I don't think the rally is going to be anything like super impressive to write home about. At this point, it looks to be about exactly what we just had, and that's going to be it. The Russell's still trying to hold on, so I'm giving this a little bit more time just to see what happens here. Again, not the easiest of conditions so far. We've essentially gone basically nowhere. Russell still says it wants to try and go higher, though, is the only thing. No, you didn't miss much so far. Russell's still continuing to try and push, though. If I was aggressive, I would look for shorts here off opening print in NASDAQ. but I don't trust that either. So, especially now with the Russell kind of doing what it looks like it wants to do here. No, I was watching Walmart, which so far hasn't pulled back and traded down into where I was thinking we might. I'm going to try a small NASDAQ short here. Stops over those 228s. It's a little wider than I'd like it to be, but I think that's it. Let's get started. That ass for me, shake that ass for me. Shake that ass for me, shake that ass for me. And that's the type of reaction I want to see right there out of the Russell. Russell got that new high push just now and nothing else did with it. It is coming back off that pretty hard now. So we got room. We can crack these 101.50s. I think we got room to like 965s. And then maybe even through that, obviously, 904.50s. Excuse me, is that overnight low down there. New lows for NASDAQ now. Shake that ass for me. Anybody grab that short? Ass on the floor. It was kind of a wider stop to begin with. Nice $50 profit off of 2 M&Qs. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm starting to wonder if we don't go back to highs. Like, with this market, I would not be surprised. It would just like essentially screw everybody. I'm gonna go flat for now. It could be a mistake. It could be a terrible decision on my part. But I was really looking for a continuation down under those 101s. And I don't think we're not seeing that yet. So remember that whole thing I like posted this morning using the little trend lines and like kind of drawing out the picture of the day of what I think we could potentially see. And like the idea was that, hey, we're going to need to be aware of that if it's going to be the case, right? Like if that's going to be the thing in which ends up happening on the day, we need to, kind of reel it in a little bit, keep it tight, get it right, get it tight. It's kind of looking like that's maybe the case here. NASDAQ right back up here. To put this into perspective, right? I am down a grand total of $14.46 here. So we're not going crazy. We're not doing too much here. I don't think that's the name of the game for today. Come on, shake that ash for me. Rejecting opening print now, coming back down towards lows. This is like it's just something else. We talked about it though. We talked about it. The idea here being this potentially happening. We gotta change up. We gotta change up the music. Maybe we should go like a chill mix. This Russell is, if it wasn't a Friday and it wasn't already weird, and we didn't have a 1,200 point NASDAQ drop yesterday, I would probably be long the Russell somewhere down in here. This 2330-ish area, it's holding really, really well. Like it acts like it really wants to try and rally some of this back. How far that goes is the question, right? As to whether it's worth it or not. Like if NASDAQ had either already died and was into something, you know, that we could work with, or was not like currently in the process of trying to maybe die, then, you know, I think it's a better trade. But the actual, like the way in which it's acting, the trade itself, it says it wants to go higher. NASDAQ, not new lows yet. I'm honestly kind of just chilling. I'm going to wait a little bit, let this kind of do whatever it wants to do at the moment. It could be an early day, or it could be a super active Friday if we actually start moving. Praying for a double bottom. I feel like I should be long Russell, but I just can't bring myself to push the button at the moment. There's a couple things that I would like to see a little bit better on there at the moment too, so the NASDAQ starting to make that move a little bit lower. It's a tough short. I mean, it is a tough short. Like, I mean, what do we trade down to right there? We traded at 24,074s and then back up to 24,224. So what is that, like 150 point pop? Like, that's a tough hold through, right? It's a really tough hold. I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna do nothing is what I'm gonna do. It was like anticipation on that. Nah. I really want to be long the Russell though. I'm gonna try a little bit of Russell here. If NASDAQ does find a little bit of a bottom here, then wants to get that rally. I think the Russell will participate in that. The Dow is kind of coming back up here, trying to get through opening print as well. So I do like that. I'm not going crazy with it. It'd probably be a pretty quick stop out if it is going to fail here. Which is essentially here. And we're flat. That's cool. No, I mean, I just like the strength. And I thought we had enough on that shakeout just now that if we were going to pop, then we could see a pretty decent little rally out of the Russell. And again, part of me still thinks that we see a nice NASDAQ rally, but at this point, it doesn't look to be the case. And I just wanted that rally in order to be able to short. Oh, I'm not necessarily using that open. It's just on there because I'm showing the extended session for just for the stream. I have my normal, like, I'm watching the normal open on my actual chart. I just show the overnight action for the stream purposes. No, I don't ever use that open. So YM short looks decent. Then we rally back 100 points. I'm gonna try this Russell one more time. Dow new highs. Taking a trim there on Russell at new high a day. That's a pretty nice bounce off 5550s there for S&Ps. We had that, it was a front run last time. We had come down there and traded 5750s. So 5550 is giving us a decent little bounce here now. Like I said, I'm choosing to play it with the Russell. I could be wrong on that, but We'll see here. And longs overall are tough, right? I mean, we know this. NASDAQ traded opening print there. Is that all the rally we get, is the question? Kind of looks like it. I'm gonna flatten the back half of the Russell there. There's some time, name free. The action is super trappy. It's super, super trappy. It is indeed. Which again, we talked about that in pre-market session. I even did a little Picasso drawing thing. By the way, I just dropped the link in the chat there. Top one currently has a 57.5% discount. Code MLT will save you the most there. So if you guys are struggling with this action and you blew an account, hopefully nobody blew the straight to funded yet because I don't think they gave them out, but if you need a new one, it's either that or you walk away on the day. You gonna call it? Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm not honestly all that far behind you on the idea. NASDAQ new lows. Yeah, and the problem is the Dow's kind of holding opening print here. This is I mean, that's the struggle at the moment. The Dow kind of looks a little bit stronger than the Russell at the moment now. Yeah, the movement is extremely fast. I mean, we kind of talked about it this morning. Like, it's either going to be an extremely active day. We get something, we get exactly the thing we wanted, which we haven't gotten so far, right? Or we get a ton of chop and a ton of just OPEX combined with a 1,200 point NASDAQ range yesterday type of move. And if, like, that seems to be more in line with it at the moment. But yeah, I agree. I mean, the NASDAQ dome just, it just fucking rips. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Like, you almost can't even have it on the screen because it just moves too much. I mean, maybe NASDAQ drops down here to 24,965s. Or sorry, 23,965s. And then S&P's managed to hold this 5550s, and then we can pop. At the moment, I don't have a position either way, so it doesn't necessarily matter to me, but I'm just watching the four grid over here, looking at the four markets together, just kind of seeing what we're doing. It ain't a whole lot. Days like today, you could get in trouble. You could get in trouble pretty easily. NASDAQ coming down here now to 965s. We trade at 967.50s here. I'm not super interested in longs at this point from here, but the first short entry we had today up over in this area right around 10 o'clock was really nice, but we would have had to sit through two rallies, one of 150 points and the other one of almost 200 points back in our face just to get the move down here into targets. Like, it's super tough to try and play for that. Hold on one second, I got a tinkle. All right. Is chat going too? What, to go pee with me? You want me to take you with me? I don't know if that's a general consensus or just an outlier, but bury me alive. If I lose you tonight, hang it out to dry. NASDAQ maybe trying to bounce a little bit here. Little bit of bounce, not too much there. Bitcoin sliding. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's in for some trouble. 82,000 now. It's still got some room to move. Gold and silver on the struggle bus today as well. It's a pretty decent bounce so far off 965s there for NASDAQ. Do we go back to highs is the question. I certainly think it's probably possible. S&P's up over 55.50s there. It's almost a 100-point bounce so far out of NASDAQ. Like, damn. These moves are not for the weak. Us going back to highs on the day, I don't think that would be too surprising realistically. It is OPEX. Smell like cigarettes. No, there's a night that I might forget. With my eyes closed. You know, my mama told me to be home by hour. I had to hit you after me, and all my body stuck in champagne showers. Russell coming back nicely too there now. Right off that opening print. That's a 20-point pop out of Russell there. Smell like cigarettes. Tonight that I might forget. With my eyes closed. No. What a move. Smell like cigarette that I might forget. Russell new highs. So far, only market to do so. I would be open to. The one thing I don't love is we didn't get the overnight lows in NASDAQ. And we didn't get them in S&Ps. We didn't get them in anything yet. I would be open to some sort of long, maybe down here around like 24,020s or something. If we can kind of pull back, establish a little bit of a new uptrend, maybe a higher low, and then look to see if we can do something from there. If we just continue to pump here, then obviously we'll have to wait for up over opening print. But at the moment, like I said, I think we've kind of maybe tried to find a little bit of a bottom here for the morning now. We didn't go higher first. We went lower to go tag, you know, those 23,965s down there. But we could also just be pressing something to try and make some points at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Steal your heart. Ideally, we get a NASDAQ pullback, and then we can try and participate. There is a divergence down there, so it's a divergence with levels, so All right, Nasdaq pulling down here. I'm still keeping an eye on the markets. I'm just less and less interested overall. Do we just say screw it and buy gold off opening print on a pullback here? This is that area for the Nasdaq here. Back to highs would be 298, so call it 300. So there's like 300 points worth of room to the upside for a rally here. I don't love trading that against the Russell having made the new highs and being the only market to do so. So there's that. S&P's traded 55s there. That low was 24,010s. I look away for like not even half a second, and here we are 60 points higher. Like I said, somewhere around 24,020s was where I was looking, and fuck me. S&P's got the bounce. '57s. Well, shit. That was probably the entry for Nasdaq longs if we're gonna go back to highs. If not, we gotta wait for up over opening print. A little 5 minute 1, 2, 3 kind of look going there now, Nasdaq. This market's hard to trust though. I mean, I'd like to find a trade, but if it's not there, I'm just not going to force it either. Yeah, Russell making new highs. Again, that's the main thing that's keeping me interested to the long side here at the moment is that strength in the Russell. Now, again, it's also the thing that I don't necessarily love about going long is because Russell is the only one making new highs, so we are in fact creating a divergence. But we do have a divergence from lows as well, so there is that. The toss dome doesn't even look like it keeps up, to be honest, which isn't surprising, but what a freaking disaster. Meaning disaster, just like how quickly we're moving, how fast all these trades are coming through on NASDAQ. Gold's starting to make a decent little push now. Burn. Mm. And S&Ps tag these 55 50s again and then try to get a little bit of a bounce from there. Otherwise, essentially, we're kind of stuck here. Damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. You are all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? You're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I really want to try long attempts on S&Ps. But I don't know that it's really worth it. I have nothing else to do though, so we just long NASDAQ off 65s again. That doesn't seem like a good idea either. I'm going to try a little bit of NASDAQ here off 965s to see if we can hold. Again, I'm still, the one thing that we haven't done yet is we didn't go get those overnight lows. There is a divergence down here. Again, I'm trading this like as tiny as I possibly can. There's been a NASDAQ pop so far. See if we can't get S&Ps up over these 55s and then see what NASDAQ wants to do from there. Nice little start to the NASDAQ there. Again, my goal is ideally we can essentially try and hold this for up over 298s. See if we can't capture 300 plus points there. Gold did come back and test that open there. Anybody take that NASDAQ down there? 65s? I don't know, it's an old level. I don't actually know specifically where it comes from at the moment, but down bad. Down bad. Bad, down bad. So sad, so sad. Bad, down bad. So sad. I was legitimately just about to say, interested in S&Ps off 5550s, and maybe you should probably take the Russell with it, and then we just about 6 or 7 points there. So those reactions, though, you want to see like some good continuation from them, not immediately start to kind of fade back like it is. What's up, Sofa? I probably butchered that name. I apologize, but you take one F out of your name and it spells sofa over here. But welcome from Brazil. I think silver's going to try and move. I don't really know that I want to play with silver on a Friday like this, though. We just had 100 points in the NASDAQ there. We're just kind of chilling now. We're letting this NASDAQ do its thing. We picked up those positions down there, 965s. That's up about 100 points now. Me for myself. I spent so long living in hell. I say my lifestyle is bad for my health. What's the going? That seems to help. Oh yeah, nice Google bounce there. Yeah, that's not bad. Made sense for it to rally back to 300, right? That first NASDAQ test down there of 965s too. No. Monica. Where are you going, NASDAQ? Russell keeps making new highs. These pullbacks are tough. Like, tougher than I would like for them to be. Like, what is this just now? It's a 103.2-minute bar out of the Dow there. It's really bothering me that my opening print's off on that. It was a 71-point range bar on the NASDAQ 2-minute chart. Like, goodness gracious. Russell making that push now. We still got a little bit more to go for 8150s up there for S&Ps to get that opening print. Yo, what's up, Christian? You missed a bunch of bullshit, honestly, this morning. Like, a whole bunch. It's a pretty ugly day. We're currently long NASDAQ down there from 965s. So that's not terrible. Could certainly be worse. Mm. Oh, do we hold or do we close? That's the question here. I think we try and hold still, right? We still got 160, 170 points to go. Oh, you think we go lower? Nah, not yet. No, sir. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. What a move out of the Russell there. 30-point rally coming off those opening print down there. Don't like me. Walk along, walk down, walk. Apparently this breaking rust artist on Spotify is AI. It's an AI generated country music artist. Like they have some fire songs right now, and it's a freaking AI. I don't know why this freaking camera is. All right, we just traded up there into opening print. We traded 202s, opening prints 202.75s. We got like 150 points in this, give or take. Actually, sorry, we've got about 200 points in this at the moment. I don't know what to do with it here. I don't know what to do with it here. I thought silver was going to try and pop to end the day. What shit I was gonna do with that though. You can get rocks if you don't like me. Russell down, making new highs. S&P's not yet, obviously. Nasdaq, no. Do we give it this pullback? Do we just put a little better than break-even trail, which would essentially be down here at like 990s? Give it all the room in the world. I don't think that's a smart move either. I do think we probably try and push up through though. If we can get up through opening print, we'll be able to put a stop somewhere in around 135s, give or take. But again, there's only, once we get through opening print, there's about 100 points to go. So I kind of want those last 100 points. This is the literal definition of trading though, is like, we had a game plan, we had an idea this morning, which was, you know, obviously looking for a rally initially, that we could then short, and like that would be like the direction of the day would be lower from that moment forward, and we get absolutely wrecked, right? Or we come down, we trade 965s, maybe we get those overnight lows, maybe we don't, and we kind of just play a little peekaboo under yesterday and then start to kind of rally that back. We do the normal OPEX thing where we go lower, we go higher, then we go lower, kind of all that thing, right? And we tried a couple of little attempts, right, in the morning for the Nasdaq. We tried the long attempt, we tried the short attempt, and then it just came down to like we had to sit and wait and be patient, and we didn't get another entry until 11 o'clock. So an hour and a half into the day before we were ever able to do anything else again. And again, the Russell was the one today. Like if we are legitimately looking from a pure risk to reward standpoint, although Nasdaq's not going to be all that bad. We can punch that into the thing here in just a second, but like this is again the literal definition of trading here, that now it's, you know, finally starting to work out for us, but we just had to be patient, right? So let's say our entry price in here is 23,975s, stop loss 23,925s, and our take profit is 24,300, right? Nice little pop there now. Love it when a plan comes together. Risk reward is about 6.5 to 1. 6.5 to 1. S&P's new highs here now. Does that make sense? Like everything I'm kind of talking through? Sweet. Now I'm all indigo. My color is dark and cold. No indigo. Moment of my own space. Say okay. This was not the vibe that I thought I was gonna have today for music choices, but told me what love you have to go through the pain. If you want love, you only learn how to change. You're gonna have to give some away. Love. Is anybody long this with me by chance? I mean, this is the biggest trade of the week at the moment for me, so hopefully somebody is. 240 points in NASDAQ here. Trolling. Buddy would have told me you gonna have to learn through pain. If you want love, you gonna have to learn how to change. Sitting on hands. Had red day, longed with you, closed when I turned a little green. Okay. Big weekend of mentorship review coming up. Let's go, Nick. Dude, I'm telling you, the new layout inside of WAP it's pretty fire, to be honest. I'm happy with how it turned out. I'll rock slow. My own. Took an NQ entry, 24 120s. Okay. About 100 points. You have to learn how to change. You told me you had to give some away. Yeah, it's laid out nice. What are we doing for lunch today? That's the big question. Actually, hold up. Low key, bigger question. Um, in real talk, I don't really care what the answer is, but is it acceptable to just scratch the turkey for Thanksgiving and just do ribeyes? Like, can we just do that? I was thinking about this last night, and I was talking with my dad, and I'm like, bro, I really don't want turkey. So I think we might just go ahead and say it's ribeyes for Thanksgiving and just rock with it. That's what I'm thinking. So I didn't end up making the chili because somebody else ended up putting themselves on the list for chili before I don't do the whole list bullshit thing. Like Emily gets all those invites and stuff. And then so I told her, I was like, hey, go like, mark it down for us to be on there for chili. And she pulled it up and like somebody else was already on there. I was like, all right, cool, we'll call it audible. I made meatballs. It's a recipe from Emily's mom. And it was hands down the best dish at the Friendsgiving. So my chili would have shit on other boys' chili for sure as well. It was good. Don't get me wrong. His chili was pretty good. But yeah, we ended up with meatballs, and it was good. I used a little Kobe, like the Wagyu beef, uh, like package you can get at like Lowe's or Publix, whatever. So it's like really good meat. It was fire. He said, "Fuck turkeys, we're doing tomahawks." I do have a couple tomahawks still in the freezer, actually. Now that you say that, you just show up with food. Fuck the list. I should have. I should have. The meatballs are easier to make than the chili, though. So honestly, it kind of worked out better for me. I don't do like the frozen ones though. You can't. You can't. You gotta have good balls. You know what I mean? You can't have the frozen ones. You gotta make them. Lost cause. All right, I'm about to close up. I'm flat on NASDAQ there. Risk reward starting to get a little bit kind of skewed here. We were looking for like an extra 70 points or so. So it doesn't really make sense to give it too much more to the downside there. Could I give it more room and it might work and we get up there? Probably, but at the end of the day, it's 11:45. We just closed, I don't know, whatever that is, 220 points, 230 points, give or take, whatever the number ends up being. On a Friday out of NASDAQ. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm Gucci. So like I said, we might have gotten tripped up right there, but if it didn't stop right there, then we're headed back down to like under 135s, and I just don't want to take that added risk. So but yeah, a turkey purist. I didn't know there was a turkey purist. I didn't know there was an identifier of yourself. I feel like that's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. We got NASDAQ from 965s. Said Thanksgiving ain't no game. I mean, low key, I'm coming into Thanksgiving for the sides. Like, I want all of the other things. The turkey just happens to be there. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. Like, if it's middle of summer, like you've been outside playing in the pool, whatever the case is, right? A good turkey sandwich on white bread with some mustard, some mayonnaise, a little bit of lettuce, pepper sprinkled in there, chips, smash it down, and some macaroni salad on the side. That's a meal. Like that smacks. There goes NASDAQ. You son of a bitch. That low is 185s. Touche, NASDAQ, touche. But yeah, otherwise, like doing an actual turkey in the oven, I'm not about it. I can skip it. My thoughts for next week. Oh, let me turn this down. Shit. Um, yeah, I'll be around. That's a nice way to end the week, though. I'll tell you that. A nice way to end the week. But yeah, for next week, I don't know. It kind of depends where today ends up going. This Russell move is pretty impressive. The Russell's actually pushing back a fair amount. You got to cook it in a slow cooker upside down. The breast meat stays super juicy. See, listen, you still can't get turkey to taste as good as a ribeye. Like, I get it. I hear you. It just can't be done. So, somehow this year, the ribeyes are going to identify as turkey for Thanksgiving at my house. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that, actually. I threw the idea out to Emily this morning. I was like, hey, it's like, what about if we do this? And like, she hesitated for like just a second. And then she was like, if you want to do steaks, I'm okay with that. Say less. Like when vegans say cauliflower tastes like chicken, yeah, no shot. No shot. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have some pretty decent like cauliflower bites and stuff like that, right? Because they got sauce on them. Like that's it. I mean, there's nothing else. But no, you're not gonna get cauliflower that tastes as good as chicken. Can it have good sauce on it? Yes. It's not the same though. It is not the same. He said, I'm not gonna debate that. There's no debate. There's no debate on that one. All right, Nasdaq pushing there. I kind of wish I would have pressed a little bit more on the S&Ps there from 55s, but to be honest, I'm fine with it. It is what it is on the day. We had a pretty decent little day. Overall, trading small as well in the top one account that I've been working in. That account's up with 315 bucks on the day now. Again, that move we just caught was with one micro in that account specifically as well. So yeah, all in all, a good day across the board. I'm kind of torturing myself to see if NASDAQ go ahead and get this 24,300 area. But a pretty impressive move. What is that? Almost 70 points now out of the S&Ps there, $3,500 per contract, and a nice move out of the Dow too. So we're actually fighting. We're fighting this back a little bit more than I expected us to. Like we're over halfway there in the Russell at this point to get rid of yesterday's bar. Same thing here in the Dow. I don't know if this move continues today, which I'm about to sign off in a second. If this move does continue today, one, it's going to be super impressive. Two, that could change things going into next week, which would be kind of nutty. NASDAQ traded 24,305s. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Nice move overall. Yeah, I don't know. If we do erase yesterday's bar, it's going to be interesting. I think the Russell and the Dow have a shot at it, given the move in which we're currently seeing. But S&Ps and NASDAQ obviously got a lot more work to do. I'm not saying it's not possible, but yeah. Super unfortunate timing, but they're getting everybody set up with their funded accounts from last night that we gave away. Literally at the tail end of the trade. I'll feel a little silly if we do go to like 24,500s. What a move. What a move. All right, I'm going to call it a day there. I'm done. There's not going to be anything else for me to do here. It'll be interesting to see where we end up going, though, because it's a pretty healthy looking rally so far. And it could just be getting started. A full erase of yesterday's move is potentially kind of crazy. Let's go, dude. Let's go. That's enough to cover that green. Get that green roll in the Discord. I don't know if Hassan's listening or not, but I'll mess with him on it too. What an S&P move. I really want to walk away, but like we keep rallying. It's like shit. What is that right now? 84 points on the S&Ps. My goodness gracious. Walmart somehow ended up actually getting rocked, which makes 0 sense. Like, it's the strongest thing in the world yesterday. And then today the Dow rallies 500-600 points, and it actually is red on the day. So like that's cool. That makes sense. Yeah, I know. I mean, I legit said, should we go long gold off of opening print? And that was 30 plus points ago. And then I wanted silver to rally. I thought silver was going to rally here into end of day. It's a crazy, crazy move. Brian, you listening? Garcia? Is you listening? That sounds creepy. Maybe not. I'll ping him on the side. All right, guys, I'm going to roll. Happy Friday. Nice move there. Hopefully some of you guys caught that rally there. But I wouldn't stick around and as the saying goes, FAFO on a Friday here. I think we caught probably what is the best move of the day. And it really matches up nicely to the overall, again, well, and we'll see what the rest of the day ends up looking like. It really matches up nicely to that little drawing we had this morning. So if we can kind of finish this out, I think it'll look nice. Yeah, man, you as well. How many points did I capture? What was it? 230? Let me see. 215 is what it ended up being. Yeah, 215. We've since rallied like another, I mean, almost damn near 200 points on top of that from where I got out at, which is kind of crazy. But yeah. Anyways, appreciate you guys as always. Hope you guys all have a great weekend. And we'll be around next week. It'll be a slower week with obviously Thanksgiving, but this market volatility might actually make it something worth doing. But yeah, nice way to end the week. If you guys got any questions, obviously feel free to hit me up. And I will catch you guys next week.